All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for being with us. We got a great show for you. Donald Trump, once again, referencing the Insurrection Act as things in Minneapolis really spiral out of control. We now have ICE officers in federal vehicles. Their vehicles are being looted. Weapons are being stolen. Sensitive documents are being shown to the world that show the ICE agents or federal agents' first and last names. So now you have to assume the radical leftists, revolutionaries, these communists are going to use those names to target the families of federal agents. I think it's time. I think the Insurrection Act, we've been saying this for a couple of days now, the Insurrection Act needs to be used by the Trump administration to not only restore law and order, but so these deportations continue. We have a huge disconnect right now among liberal women, specifically liberal white women, who really just don't seem to understand cause and effect, and they really don't seem to understand what they're up against. I think that's one of the reasons why Renee Good is dead. And in spite of all of that, you have Tim Walz encouraging people to continue to go out there, encouraging people to continue to be put in harm's way, to take their cell phones and to make sure that you record everything. And he's intuiting that if they get power back again, they're going to put ICE agents in jail. They're going to throw them in jail, just like they treated the J6ers for protesting against the stolen election in 2021. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Josh Hawley's hearing, where we once again have a medical doctor refusing to say that women can't get pregnant. Just simple yes or no. Jeez, no, I'm not going to say anything. So we've got a lot to get to, and the show starts right now.
The Paul Harrell Program.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. We really appreciate you being with us. As always, want to make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this video. Whether you're watching on Rumble or X or YouTube or whatever, just please do all the things you're supposed to do on the different platforms. We would really very much appreciate it. Rob, unable to be here today, but we've got Mr. Eric Haynes back with us. Eric, how you doing, sir?
Super great to be part of the conversation. Good to see you, sir.
Yes, sir. We have missed you this week, and I still think, just because of random scheduling conflicts and things that keep coming up, I don't know, in the year 2026, have we done a show with all three of us in the same room?
The Three Musketeers have not been together all together in the same room yet, but we're going to make that happen real soon.
That's kind of what I thought. But it's going to happen, right? It's going to eventually happen when things, get back to normal or whatever. Let me just think here. Where do we want to start? Other than the fact that I'm incredibly tired because I ate 5 chicken strips. I don't normally eat before the show, and I intermittent fast most of the time, but I just was so hungry, and now I can't even think straight because I'm in the midst of a glucose high or a crash or whatever. So forgive me if I'm a little scatterbrained today, folks. But let's just start with the Insurrection Act.
I was going to start with a compliment. Intermittent fasting is obviously working because you're looking great, man.
Oh, man.
Good job.
I appreciate it. Thank
Seriously,
you very much.
it's good stuff.
I've lost about 20 pounds since July, so it's a little slower than I'd like, but we're going for the next 20.
That's why those chicken fingers hit so hard, too, because your system is used to this great track record that you were on for a little while.
It's not.
And now you
good.
just dropped a napalm in there.
I will say it's good. It's good to start dieting in the middle of the summer and not January like everybody else. So you're already, you're ahead. You're already ahead, and you don't feel like you have so much work to do. Anyway,
yeah.
I appreciate you saying that.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's get into where are we at here? Let's get into Trump and the Insurrection Act first. So this is what was posted over on Truth Social. Donald Trump saying, if the corrupt politicians of Minnesota don't obey the law and stop the professional agitators and insurrectionists from attacking the patriots of ICE, who are only trying to do their job, I will institute the Insurrection Act, which many presidents have done before me, and quickly put an end to the travesty that is taking place in that once great state. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. So this, you hope that this is you hope that this is not just talk. This is not just social media posts. I do, because I think it's insane. I guess I don't understand it. Like, none of us liked Joe Biden. We didn't like the open borders policies, but none of us thought that this. I mean, a protest is one thing, right? And you could cite J6, but in J6, we know that. I mean, I know that was a Fedsurrection. I know it was a setup. I'm not saying that there weren't people that were violent there or anything else, but And that's what the left is like. They want to equate these two incidents or whatever. But I don't see the equation because I don't see the. To me, it's not this. It's not exactly the same, right? We have a situation where ICE agents are there to do a job, and they're there to do a job that they've been doing, off and on, not with the fervor that maybe many of us would like, but this is an organization that's always existed. We have a huge problem. It's been going on for decades, but it kind of goes back to what we were talking about. It's been an extreme open borders policy for all of our lifetime, and so now it requires what appears to be an extreme solution to the left, but it's really just law and order. I don't know. I'm rambling at this point.
You're not, and we don't mean to oversimplify this, but this is bad parenting 101. This is, as much as President Trump as they are agitators, insurrectionists, but they're brats. They're kids who were never held accountable for things and are now lashing out because they weren't parented correctly. They didn't have people that held them accountable during their and as someone who's raising 4 young children, like, you have to be on top of those things or this is what you get. And bad kids cause problems when they get older. Bad kids become bad adults. Mm-hmm. And this is what's happening with these folks that are going out and assaulting law enforcement officers, and it needs to be put down. And it needs to be put down strong and hard and exactly the way that it should have been from the beginning. But we've let this go for decades. We've let our open border policy and our bad immigration policies and our ability to turn the other cheek and to take the high road and to be the silent majority, even when our silence was called violence. All those things that we put up with for so long is now coming back to haunt us. And sadly, it's directly affecting ICE agents who are trying to do their job that they're being paid to do, that the mandate was for them to do, and it is just their job. They're trying to get that job done, and these brats are not allowing them to do it, and it's trying to get in the way of them doing it, and it's disgusting.
Yeah, it's good. It's interesting that you bring it all the way back to like their childhood, because I think that's generally right. I mean, they haven't been told no. And they also really haven't lost publicly. What I mean by like with the pop culture always pushing the envelope left. And we certainly saw this for the last 10 years with the LGBTQ and the trans stuff. Like this is the in thing, and they were told by the corporations, they were told by all the professional sports, everything. Whatever the new woke messaging was, it was adopted, and so they were given this false sense. The true leftists were also given this kind of false sense of, oh, this is our society now, and we're hearing it everywhere, and so this is the new normal. And yet the silent majority of the country, because it was all a psyop to manufacture consent, as we've talked about.
Totally.
The silent majority of the country is like, no, we don't agree with this. And so now that they've taken cultural losses, companies are backing off. Now that Donald Trump gets reelected, after they couldn't imagine, because they watched MSNBC or CBS or ABC. There's no way Trump is going to get reelected, right? There's no way after J6, and now we've got Jack Smith. First it was Mueller that couldn't take him down. Now Jack Smith's going to take him down, and they were in this psychosis.
Yeah.
And yet they lost, and they can't conceive of it. And now Trump is actually doing, in part what he said. I'm going to deport. I'm going to secure the border. We're going to go into these cities. And they're having a meltdown because they can't. They've been brainwashed into thinking that, not only do they have the moral high ground, but that this is some sort of massive, societal upheaval, when the majority of Americans want a secure border. A majority of Americans want violent illegals out of our country. And then you have a significant portion of the Republican Party that want a total freeze on immigration because they're tired of the demographic changes.
I'm not only having conversations with my children every day about what's right and what's wrong, but I'm having conversations with them to tell them to be lions and not sheep. And that's not to abuse that privilege and become bullies, but it's to say that do not conform, do not allow bullies to take advantage of you and to hurt you in any way. Stand up for yourself and do the right thing and take care of others around you and be examples and for Christ. And these folks did not ever have any of that. And they're lashing out now. They have found their thing, which is holding on. And this is Democrat run and very well funded. And they are trying desperately now to hold on to the voting bloc that is beholden to them because they've been funded for so long. And illegal immigrants don't want to leave. And they rode this gravy train for a very, very long time, for decades now. There's tens of millions of them here. And I can't necessarily say that if I wasn't one of them that I wouldn't want to leave either. But it's time to go. Mm-hmm. Sorry.
Let's get to this real quick. So this is what we were talking about at the top of the show. We have not only did the federal vehicles get looted, but you also have really sensitive documents essentially doxing these ICE agents.
Yeah.
Were parked on the street in the shooting. They had to leave their cars behind because they got surrounded by protesters. One of the ICE agent vehicles got broken into, and I found this paperwork. It has a list with FBI operation info. It's got full names of FBI.
Well, actually, yeah. I mean, I don't even want to.
See,
I don't even want to show that, honestly.
That's what happens.
I probably shouldn't have shown that. Here's another one.
Fake arrest warrants? Oh, what the hell?
See him going through the papers.
Shit. Bro, you got arrest warrants.
Yeah, so they have the arrest warrants for who they're trying to go after, and of course,
by the way, are rapists, child sex predators, murderers, convicted felons.
So
and
the incident that they're referring to is that last night there was an ICE officer that shot an illegal alien after being ambushed with a shovel. According to Homeland Security, it says here at 6:50 p.m. Central Time, federal law enforcement officers were conducting a targeted operation of an illegal alien who was released into the country by Joe Biden in northwestern Minneapolis. In an attempt to evade arrest, the suspect fled the scene in his vehicle and crashed into a parked car. The suspect then fled on foot. The law enforcement officer caught up to the subject on foot and attempted to apprehend him when the subject began to resist and violently assault the officer. While the subject and law enforcement were in the struggle on the ground, two subjects came out of a nearby apartment and also attacked the law enforcement officer with a snow shovel and a broom handle. As the officer was being ambushed and attacked by the two individuals, the original suspect got loose and began striking the officer with a shovel or broomstick. Fearing for his life and safety, he was being ambushed by three individuals. The officer fired defensive shots to defend his life. The initial subject was hit in the leg. All three subjects ran back into the apartment and barricaded themselves inside. The attacked officer and subject are both in the hospital. So they did eventually apprehend the guy. But so they had to abandon their vehicles after that. Then it was swarmed by the mob, and I think we can effectively call them rioters now because of, let's see here. We're going to come back to old Tampon Tim. Because of this, they're actually getting the rifles, the weapons from the car.
Yeah. You're certainly not going to see Minneapolis PD anywhere helping out these guys either.
No, you are not. That is a rifle.
Oh, my God. Oh, my.
So that's a rifle, ladies and gentlemen. At some point, it's just an embarrassment when you think. I mean, it'd be one thing if this was happening without the federal law enforcement there. And this was just the blue city police officers standing down like they do in so many instances.
They're even taking their stickers.
But
that they use to identify themselves. By the way,
this is the federal government, and look, let me take this opportunity to have a conversation. There was a conservative saying like, "Be careful. You're going to cheer on the authoritarian crackdown now, but it can easily be turned against you." And I'm like, yeah, you're exactly right. I know that that's what the stakes are, but it's already been turned against Republicans. Yeah. It already has. I saw what happened to J6ers. I saw how they had to use an Enron statute for white collar crime to charge so many of the people that were just there,
just walking.
They didn't
around.
do anything, and you threw them in DC gulags. You put them in solitary confinement. Specifically, I'm thinking of Derek Evans in West Virginia, a friend of mine. I mean, it's already happened. It's already been done. And yes, if they get back, and this is why we need to be urging and encouraging the people that are supposedly on our side to actually do something about this. If they get back in power, yes, they are going to do this and much, much worse to us, 100%. But if the option is, well, because they're going to do X, Y, and Z, we can't do what's right. We can't do what we believe is right. I reject that. I think you've got to use the power that you have when you have the opportunity to use it. And if the other side does what they do, well, okay, batten down the hatches, I mean, if the federal government were in my town, going through and, taking Bibles and asking people to denounce their faith, yeah, that would be horrible. But we've got, the church has a historical preference for what happens when that goes on. I mean, that's part of it. And that's, yeah. I know that please don't think that sounds crazy, because that's exactly what's going through the minds of an I would say an average leftist right now. They are dreaming of getting back in power right now and coming to the rural South and, forcing us to, make men compete in women's sports or probably something even worse than that. Like, that's what they're, get the National Guard involved to make us affirm their woke sex religion.
Let's hope you're wrong.
I know. I know.
I know you think
I'm just saying,
that, yes.
in their minds.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to put myself in their shoes.
Yeah.
And I think people like Tim Waltz would 100%
Oh, yeah.
do something like this.
Yeah.
Here's Tim Waltz.
Tonight I want to share another way you can help. Witness. Help us establish a record of exactly what's happening in our communities. You have an absolute right to peacefully film ICE agents as they conduct these activities. So carry your phone with you at all times. And if you see these ICE agents in your neighborhood, take out that phone and hit record. Help us create a database of the atrocities against Minnesotans, not just to establish a record for posterity, but to bank evidence for future prosecution. Tonight, I want to share another way you can help.
So, I mean, that goes hand in glove with exactly what I was just saying. They're going to, if they get in power, and so if you're an ICE officer, or, you got to be hoping that the administration does call in the military, use the Insurrection Act to actually winnow the enemies here. To the point where, it's got to get to the point where if the Democrat Party does get back in power, they have been winnowed to the point where they can't. I know that sounds crazy, or I don't even know how that would happen. This is why some people think it is a zero-sum game at this point, and we've got to win, and they've got to lose, or we're going to lose, and they're going to win.
The only reason that happened last night, or that it became what it became, was that the night before it wasn't squashed the way it should have been. And the minute this gets put a stop to, that's the minute where we'll see, hopefully, progress in, getting back to peaceful protest, which I don't have the time for or the energy for, but whatever. If you're going to do that right there from that video a while ago, there was no peaceful protest there.
Well, here's the deal. I'm assuming
they're going to go after families.
You do the Insurrection Act. You send in the military. There are no protests if they don't want there to be.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Peaceful or not. Like, we're securing the city. I know this sounds crazy and callous, but I mean, if you really wanted to end this, one of the things you would do is you would control the supply chain in and out of Minneapolis. I mean, these are things it'll get real for these people real quick with empty grocery store shelves. And I know what that sounds like. Well, but this is all over the law being enforced, and it's a law that they don't like. And if they want to change those laws, all they have to do is win elections. Mm-hmm. They didn't win elections. They didn't win. And so you can't have people, when you don't win an election, all of a sudden, fight to the now. I know J6 happened, but I mean, the rest after that, people on the right went on with their lives under Joe Biden. They didn't like it.
Yeah.
But it's not like we were out there, doing what these guys are doing. It's not even the same. It's not the same. It's not even the same.
Yeah,
sport.
we got mouths to feed. We've
got
jobs to go back to, and we're busy people. Our kids have baseball games and soccer games and basketball games, and we want to go do fun things and enjoy our lives. So we do the best we can. These people don't. They just want to fight.
There's long been people that have gamed out like modern-day Civil War scenarios, and I feel we can talk about this because Tim Walz has been talking about Civil War, but it's a real simple answer. I mean, the reason many people think the rural areas win in any sort of rural versus urban dispute is supply chain.
Yeah,
it's because all of their stuff comes from rural areas. And so there's just not enough resources if you cut those off. And I you kind of already have that going on with Trump saying, okay, no more money to California and Minnesota. Like, we're not giving you guys any more money. We're going to start punishing you monetarily. That's already, kind of that situation. But I don't know. You've got to allow ICE to continue to do what they're doing, and you have to stop this nonsense. It's just insane. I know, like the me of 10 years ago would probably be on this. Well, they're doing it, they're going to do it to us. But I at this point, I don't think that argument holds with me because they're going to do it to us regardless. They're coming after all of us if this doesn't work out in our favor. Not just in Minneapolis, but all over these blue states and cities.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see when, I feel like I say that all the time, but when the first clash, like real clash of people that are just fed the heck up with this stuff, when they clash with rioters like this and agitators and insurrectionists, when patriots do organize and go and confront this, not just one or two guys that ends up throwing a couple of sucker punches, which was hilarious, by the way. The guy that knocked the dude straight out. Absolutely hysterical. God bless that guy because he was holding the American flag the whole time while he was fending off those Antifa guys. But
you kind of wonder. I hold that thought. You kind of wonder is putting a loudspeaker in somebody's ear assault? Can that be considered assault? Is my question because I mean obviously he swung first, but it was after. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean he had the thing like bumping him in the head with it, so I think he absolutely could call that assault if he wanted to, but he chose to take care of himself, which is fine.
Rob Spencer interrupting the show. He couldn't be here today, but he's interrupting us.
Is he?
Yeah, via text. He's giving you, Eric, a taste of your own medicine. He says, tell me how Trump's words on January 6, 2021 are worse than what Tim Walz and other Democrats are saying. Exactly. Donald Trump was like, be peaceful, be peaceful, be peaceful.
Oh, right.
It's a night and day difference for the call to arms we are seeing by Democrats. Walz and Fry, the mayor of Minneapolis, are going to get even more people killed because they are encouraging and cheering on an absolute insurrection against lawful ICE enforcement. Yeah, and I think they want. I think they want it to escalate as well because it'll detract. I think they kind of just wanted everything to burn down because they're all busted anyway with this whole Somali welfare fraud thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd rather like
now they really don't have anything to do. They don't have the they don't have the millions of dollars to be putting in Ziploc bags and taking to airports anymore. Mm-hmm. Now they can just go out in the streets and start agitating ICE agents and stealing their guns.
They're like caged animals at this point. They really are. I'm going to look up the haymakers that guy threw here in just a second. We're going to take a quick break and don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be back here in just a second.
I'm Brian Norris, retired Army First Sergeant, husband to Kelly, father of 3 amazing girls, and a lifelong Arkansan who puts faith, family, and fair elections first. When Independence County demanded real election transparency, I led the charge, petitioning voters and winning at the Arkansas Supreme Court. Now, Little Rock bureaucrats are punishing counties like Searcy for putting voters first. That's not real conservatism. It's big government overreach in disguise. That's why Trump allies like General Michael Flynn, Mike Lindell, Justice Michael Gableman, Colonel Conrad Reynolds, Senator Wendy Rogers, and Senator Mark Fincham back me. Together, we'll secure Arkansas's elections and inspire the nation. As Secretary of State, I'll implement President Trump's executive order, verify citizenship, replace hackable voting computers, and build trust with verifiable paper ballots. I'll cut red tape for businesses, harness our natural gas and lithium boom, and attract tech jobs to grow Arkansas strong. This is our fight, our future. Join us.
paid for by Norris for Arkansas.
All right, folks, welcome back to the show. Thanks so much for being with us. Okay, so during the break there, I did find the clip that I was looking for. Eric, you're going to want to see that. I mean, everybody's seen this, but we didn't actually cover it when this happened and it was going viral. But here's the guy holding the American flag, and he's being harassed by protesters or rioters or whatever you want to call them. And they're putting one of those megaphone loudspeakers right in his ear, and then he reaches a breaking point. And
there's the first one.
And now it's on.
He takes his gloves off. 3, 2, 1, boom.
Hey, guys.
guys.
So,
also love how effeminate they are. Like, something's going on. Somebody from the right wing is doing something. So they have little whistles, little rape whistles. And it's just so effeminate.
Can I clarify that I'm not saying that it always has to result in everybody throwing haymakers, and that's not what I'm.
Of course not.
Yeah, it's not what I'm asking for. But there's zero. The problem is, again, getting back to parenting 101. There's been zero accountability. No one holds them accountable because all of the Democratic folks in Congress and in D.C. say that they're peaceful while they're doing this stuff, and then it gets not peaceful, and then they want to ignore that it's not peaceful. So then this stuff happens, and you just need more than that one guy. You need a lot of people to show up in numbers and then just stop it before it starts.
There's apparently a video of this where they overlay 1960 Batman POW graphics.
Oh, I bet that's
according
good.
to Rob.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, to your point, like, I don't know how irritated I would have to be like the only guy who's on the right in the crowd to throw the first punch when I'm surrounded by all those people. But
Yeah.
it does kind of make you think, like, here's one guy on the right, here's a bunch of leftists who just get dominated by this guy. He doesn't look like a large man. And you kind of, again, go back to the whole, like, Civil War question, and they're just it just seems like we have unequal weights and measures here, or unequal sides, because we had that other guy from a couple of days ago who's threatening to go get a gun and kill ICE agents, but
right.
first he says we're going to go to the gun store, then learn how to use the gun, and then use it against the ICE officer.
Right. Makes total sense. Yeah.
So, I mean, they're literally admitting that they don't have the skills to defend themselves and, to preserve their leftist ideology.
No, most of these are beta males anyway. They
Yeah.
get absolutely destroyed. And that's not what we want. We're not
No,
trying to
of
we're not
course
trying
not.
to advocate for us just getting a whole bunch of
But they're putting themselves in stupid
brute dudes and
situations.
going beating up guys. but-
They've watched Marvel movies, not that I'm, against superhero movies, but I mean, they think that that's real life. They're in a world where they are overestimating what they are capable of. This is some of the first exercise many of these people have gotten in years, and they're going against trained professionals.
Yeah.
And the trained professionals are actually showing, and if the average leftist knew how much restraint these ICE agents are actually showing, they would be terrified. They would be absolutely terrified of how really their lives are actually, like, they're hanging in the balance, like, because they're provoking people who are under very high stress situations. And what happened with Renee Good, obviously the guy was hit by the car. We know that now. Allegedly, they're now saying look, he was hit by the car and justified in the shooting. Okay, let me preface with saying that. He was hit by the car.
No question.
Now they're saying he had internal bleeding in the hospital, which he very may have had internal bleeding. But Eric, are there synonyms for internal bleeding that you could think of?
It's called a bruise.
It could be a bruise.
The guy has a bruise on his leg, and I'm sure it's purple.
What about a
It sucks
hematoma?
because he shouldn't have to deal with. He shouldn't have had to deal with
No,
that.
absolutely not.
The only thing crazier than crazy, white little beta males is liberal white women, though.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But when you say just real quick, but when you say internal bleeding, I immediately the first time I ever learned of internal bleeding was in the 1990s during Independence Day, when the movie Independence Day, when the president's wife dies of internal bleeding. So when I hear internal bleeding, I'm thinking, oh, that's you're gonna die from that. But it could also just be a hematoma.
Yeah, that big purple circle on my leg is also a internal bleeding.
Okay, real quick, new topic or slightly connected topic. Then we're gonna get to
I
Josh
said purple
Hawley.
circle. Sorry.
So here is Terry Moran from ABC News. Okay, Terry Moran from ABC News. And,
this lady's crazy.
We've kind of made this point, but Terry Moran says Barack Obama deported more than 3 million people from this country while he was president. No masked gangs descending on neighborhoods, snatching ordinary working people from their cars and disappearing them, storming homes without judicial warrants. This is just force. It's not law. That's Terry Moran. Well, the Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance, weighs in and decides to shred this argument, and I'm glad we're talking about this because we made the point, Rob's made the point about Barack Obama's deportation numbers versus Trump's and how the left is overreacting. But he fudges the numbers, and J.D. Vance talks about that. He says this argument is just entirely fake for two reasons. One, in the Obama administration, they counted being turned away at the border as a deportation. A person would show up, be sent back, and counted as a deportation. We have to do deportations from the interior of the country because Biden and Harris let them walk in. Number two, in the cities that are not sanctuary cities, the deportation process is orderly and normal, like most law enforcement. In Minneapolis and a few other sanctuary jurisdictions, local jurisdictions, and a few left-wing agitators have decided to wage war on all immigration enforcement officers. They are hoping that a little chaos will convince us to give up on immigration enforcement. They are wrong. And that's a great point, because Adam Carolla made this point, too, about the chaos. It is the left-wing protesters in these sanctuary cities. It is Tim Walz. It's the Mayor Fry. They're the ones creating the chaos. The rioters
100%.
are creating the chaos, and then the rioters say, oh, that's chaos. We need the chaos to stop. But they're the ones creating the chaos.
100%.
If liberal white women would leave ICE alone and let them do
their
there
job.
wouldn't be Renee Good would still be alive. But they decided to care, about, Somali, immigrants here, where, by the way, the Somalis don't care at all about Renee Good. I'm just telling you, they don't at all, because they are, because they're tribal. It just is what it is. And that's the irony here. We have people putting themselves in harm's way and dying for this, with religious fervor for this left-wing ideology that they really haven't thought through.
No.
And it's sad. It actually is very, very sad. But I wanted to address that because
Glad you did.
Barack Obama's deportation numbers, he was going to do anything he could. I mean, Barack Obama's whole career was trying to make him look like he was in the middle when he was really a socialist Marxist.
It brings clarity to the Obama as being the deporter-in-chief narrative, that he did it calmly and everything was just fine, and that's how things could be too if it wasn't Trump. It's no, these people are fighting and getting in the way and causing all kinds of agitations and insurrection.
I'm so sick of this.
It's
Insurrection Act.
Let's just call a spade though, brother.
Yep.
It's only going to get worse.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. I don't think
it's
they're
going to get worse
stop.
before it gets better.
I think they want the chaos, and I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
But I think Insurrection Act and military is the only way.
It's like with anything else in this culture. It's just continuing to push the envelope further and further to get reactions, to get what you want, and to get the, viewership or whatever, or way of constructing your narrative.
So Josh Hawley was questioning Dr. Nisha Verma about the whole biological reality behind men and women, and obviously this is in the context of the trans cults that we're all living through, and kind of I think we're on the other side of, although it could come rushing back. So the way the committee works is, the Republicans get to have their experts, the Democrats get to have their experts testify. And so Dr. Nisha Verma, she is, can I call her a she? I don't know. I don't think she knows. She is from the Democrat side. She is the Democrat witness here testifying in this committee. And
she's a GYN from North Carolina, by the way.
She's an OBGYN?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. That's even worse.
Just wait, audience.
Well, so it's interesting because, you just think about, like, the mainstream, like, or the majority of Americans, especially, if you're on the right, like, we've totally moved on, we've rejected this, but yet supposedly affluent, educated people are still clinging to this gender nonsense with every fiber in their being. And so she refuses to answer the question. Let's take a listen to this exchange.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since you bring it up, why don't we just start there? Dr. Verma, I wasn't sure I understood your answer to Senator Moody a moment ago. Do you think that men can get pregnant?
I hesitated there because I wasn't sure where the conversation was going or what the goal was. I mean, I do take care of patients.
Stop.
Yeah, just stop.
Let's stop right there and analyze that. I hesitated to answer because I don't know where the conversation is going and what the goal of the conversation is. That is so weaselly. It's like, well, if I answer your question, I don't want to lose the argument. Or if I answer the question, then it may make trans people feel like that trans isn't real. It's such...
And I've pacified a whole bunch of my patients and patients that have come through my practice that have told them one thing, to keep them happy and to keep them coming to me for care, for whatever that may be, and me refer them out to people that are going to chop off their body parts or whatever. And I can't say yes or no. And I'm going to dodge around this for minutes at a time, even though I'm asked half a dozen times the same exact question. I do not have the ability to say no or yes.
Yeah, and it's like it's just literal insanity. And yet the left thinks that they're the smart people and that we're the dumb people, and yet they've just completely abandoned any sort of debate or any sort of like basic argumentation. Well, I don't want to answer that question because of where the conversation might go. Okay, well, you're not a serious person then, and yet you're an OBGYN. I mean, it's her. She should lose her medical license for something like this, or be investigated by it.
I don't know her practice makeup, but when you see this, you don't look at her as a politician that's being funded by lobbyists or PACs or NGOs that are feeding her a whole bunch of money. She's obviously got a practice that's based on pacifying this narrative by the liberal community about sex is fluid and or gender and sex are fluid, and you'll see a whole lot more of that as we come to the Supreme Court decision. But
patients with different identities, I take care of many women. I take care of people with different identities, and so that's where I paused. I think. I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Well, the goal is just the truth. So can men get pregnant?
Again, the reason I paused there is I'm not really sure what the goal of the question is.
The goal is just to establish a biological reality.
In another reality, I don't believe in string theory or multiple realities, but if I did, in another reality, Dr. Vishna is yelling at Holly, but Holly's an ICE agent, and they're on the streets of Minneapolis. Like,
there are already calls. There are already calls being made to pull her license. So,
there are.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You just said a moment ago that science and evidence should control, not politics. Absolutely. So let's just test that proposition. Can men get pregnant?
I take care of people with many identities, but
can men get pregnant?
There are many women that can get pregnant. I do take care of people that don't identify as women.
Can men get pregnant?
Again, as I'm saying,
let me just remind you what you testified to a moment ago. Science and evidence should control, not politics. Absolutely. So can men get pregnant? You're a doctor, I think.
Science and evidence should guide medicine.
Do science and evidence tell us that men can get pregnant? Biological men, can they get pregnant?
I also think yes/no questions like
he even gave her an out there. Yeah. When he kept saying, "Can men get pregnant? Can men get pregnant?" And then he said, "Can biological men get pregnant?" He's like, he's giving her And she still doesn't take it because
she's also a complex family planning specialist and a clinical researcher committed to improving access to abortion care.
Okay, so she's an abortionist.
Yes.
So she's killed babies is what we think. I mean, if she's a family planner, that's a fancy way of saying,
that's plastered all over her website that
Okay.
she's a complex family planning specialist.
Man, I don't understand what kind of world, because she's obviously delivered babies.
I'm okay with the transparency on her on
mean,
her marquee, but my gosh, why is she sitting there?
I know we're in a fallen world and we're capable of all kinds of evil. All of us are, but it's just kind of wild that you could deliver a baby and also kill a baby.
Yeah,
that is some. That's crazy.
I meant to look up why she's sitting there though, because the two, one's a physician next to her and one's an attorney general, and when they're asked the same questions, they're like, "No."
Yeah.
Science and
They don't even
evidence
hesitate.
should guide medicine.
Do science and evidence tell us that men can get pregnant? Biological men, can they get pregnant?
I also think yes/no questions like this are a political tool. And
No, yes/no questions are about the truth, doctor. Let's not make a mockery of this proceeding. This is about science and evidence, and I'm asking you. You know, the United States Supreme Court just heard arguments yesterday at great length on this question. This is not a hypothetical question. This is not theoretical. It affects real people in their real lives. And you're here as an expert, called by the other side as an expert, and you've been telling us that you follow, right, you're a doctor, and you follow the science and the evidence. So I just want to know, based on the science, can men get pregnant? That's a yes or no question. It really is, I think.
I think you're trying to reduce the complexity of a lot.
I'm not. I'm trying to get, it's not complex. I'm trying to get to an answer, and I'm trying to test, frankly, your veracity as a medical professional. And
He's trying not to laugh. I mean,
Your veracity when it's
everyone in there had to have been just trying so hard not to laugh, and
Yeah, I'm watching the lady in the background with the cross necklace, and I clearly think she's on our side. I'm watching her facial or expressions rather.
Well, she lashed out at somebody earlier in the hearing when they called her Miss Verma, and she was like, "No, it's doctor," and then it just kind of went from there down a path of, "Oh, okay,
wow,
well, let's put your knowledge to the test."
Can men get pregnant?
I think you're also conflating
This is
male
extraordinary.
female with
No, I'm not conflating male and female. They're two different things. There's biological men and there's biological women. And I want to know, can men get pregnant?
What you were talking about is biological.
You're not going to answer my question, it sounds like.
Biological males.
This isn't hard, doctor. Can men get pregnant? Yes or no?
Again, I would be more than happy to have a conversation with you that is not coming from a place of trying to be polarized and push.
I'm not trying to be polarizing. I'm trying to ask. I think it is.
So this is just like Ketanji Brown Jackson 2.0. This is a religion to them, and for her to say no, men can't get pregnant, is in her mind and in her supporters' mind a heresy, meaning, you're an apostate. There is only one explanation that, kind of reconciles why she just won't say it, and it's because this is a religion to them. This is like recanting your faith, and this is their whole worldview. I mean, I don't. I mean, maybe it's not the only explanation, but it's just it could just be money, I guess. I don't know, but it's certainly one of them. I mean, they know that if they say men can't get pregnant, that they've lost, and yet clips like this do more to convince us that we're right than ever before, because we just we think she's crazy. So
Extraordinary that we are here in a hearing about science and about women. And for the record, it's women who get pregnant, not men. We are here about the safety of women and science that shows that this abortion drug causes adverse health events in 11% of cases. That's 22 times greater than the FDA label, another fact you haven't acknowledged. And yet you won't even acknowledge the basic reality that biological men don't get pregnant. There's a difference between biological men and biological women. I don't know how we can take you seriously and your claims to be a person of science if you won't level with this on this basic issue? I thought we were past all of this, frankly. I can't believe we're still here talking about this.
I am a person of science, and I'm also someone here who's here to represent the complex experiences of my patients, and I don't think polarized language or questions serve that goal. I don't think they serve the American people.
It is not.
So the truth is going to make my patients feel sad.
That abortion part, it did come out right there, and I'm glad it did, because I was thinking that must be the reason why she's there. She's there at the Democrats' behest to support the pro-abortion lobby. And the other two panelists are a lot more objective, obviously. But,
Well, yeah, I mean, if we click on the C-SPAN link...
here's the deal. Here's the deal of what's going on outside the steps of Congress there, and outside of that hearing on the steps of the Capitol is the, I guess I should say in front of the Supreme Court, is right now all the debate is going on about whether Title IX means anything at all, because the ACLU is standing up and telling the judges that we don't really know that what the difference in men and women are. And then the judges, like Judge Alito, is saying, well, then how do you expect us to pass a law protecting sex if you can't tell us what sex is? We're just asking you to define male and female. You can't do that, but you're asking us to protect Title IX to protect sex of men and women, but you can't tell us what that is. It's comical. It's sad, but it's almost comical to see them flail around.
If that law is true, how do you explain my feelings? That's how I read that anyway. Well, yeah, I completely agree. But anyway,
sorry, I ranted. That was my rant that time.
That's
sorry.
good though. I mean, I'm just thankful that look, we know the truth as far as like the majority of the country has rejected.
Yeah, we can have faith in knowing that the majority of people see this and they're
really
like,
has.
oh my gosh.
And the Supreme Court is not.
Bless her heart.
Yeah, the Supreme Court is going to uphold the West Virginia law, likely. They're going to uphold the Idaho law. They're going to uphold this because it's insane. I mean, it's absolutely insane. Matter of fact, the girl in West Virginia, there was an article, the man pretending to be a woman in West Virginia when he was on the track team in junior high. There's a girl that came out and testified or wrote a statement or an amicus brief or something saying, like, look, like when I was in the locker room with him in junior high, like he sexually harassed me. He said terrible things.
There's plenty more on the Riley Gaines side of this argument in support of protecting women than there are protecting the ability of men to beat women at sports.
Yeah,
well, it's the more you see specific sports like weightlifting and boxing and other sports like that, where these biological men go into the women's divisions and destroy them, the more and more it's just finally we've talked about all the time, the tipping points, and you're going to reach that tipping point where it's like, that's it.
Yeah.
No more.
The pollster from Rasmussen Report's Mark Mitchell says that the mythological creature, the Banshee, the origin of the Banshee, has been discovered in Minneapolis.
What is your name? Sir, tell me your name. This is unacceptable.
Okay.
Absolutely unacceptable. You should all be ashamed of yourselves. This is not appropriate. This is my country. I'm here legally. Okay. These people, you never ask for proof. You are a bad, evil person. You need to be expunged. You need to go to another country. You need to know what it looks like. Instead, you're pulling over innocent people, not asking for any ID and just hauling them off. You all should be ashamed. How do you go home to children, to friends, to family? Do you tell them what you do for a living? That you arrest people without cause? That you just pick them up, put them in a truck? Is that what you do? Are you proud of yourself for doing this? Are you absolutely proud?
Thank you for calling the ICE hotline for us.
Are you proud of this?
No, thank
Are
for
you
calling us.
None of you!
Oh.
None of you! You are fools!
Oh, gosh.
I didn't get a name. I didn't get a name. They took somebody out of that car.
Somebody tase Aunt Karen.
Yeah.
All right, so
bless those guys'
So
hearts.
here's the deal.
I've met those guys like that. I've shook hands with those guys, and man, it's just disgusting that they have to put up with that stuff.
The reason that this particular banshee stood out to me is because she did not utter one 4-letter word in that.
Bless her heart for that.
And it almost made it worse.
Right.
Yeah, somehow.
Right.
It made it worse. But it just was. It was how. I mean, just how obnoxious. But people are actually getting a kick.
The
out of
PG-rated Karen.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't deserve to walk the face of the earth.
PG-13. Let's go PG-13.
You
Karen.
should be. You should be. What did she say? Eliminated or something like that.
You don't deserve to walk the face of the earth.
Yeah. So you don't have to cuss to have hate in your heart.
Yeah.
But I thought that was interesting, and these are popping up everywhere. And so, back to Adam Carolla. You sent that clip. Adam Carolla was saying that we've got a lot of these left-wing liberal women who they're not like 13-year-old boys that get punched in the face, and then you're able to learn your limits and you recognize who to pick on and who not to pick on. Feminism has so brainwashed women. You would have never seen a woman act that way 50 years ago. Or it would be very rare. It wouldn't be this, especially 100 years ago. You would not have seen a woman address a man like that in public. But because of feminism, you now have, basically an army of women that are, empowered or entitled or, whatever. I am woman, hear me roar, or anything you can do, I can do better, which is not true. It's not even true in the kitchen, by the way. Most of the best chefs are actually men.
Oh, gosh.
It is true, man.
My wife's a great cook, by the way.
My wife's a great cook. My wife's a great cook. I'm a great cook. I know you're a great cook, Eric. But I'm just saying, like, if you look at the
No, see, I have the easy part. I just throw the meat on the grill and on the smoker, and I sit back and I watch it do its awesomeness over the course of time.
All I'm saying is the professional chefs, they're mostly men. I mean, think about it. And yet, so it breaks the stereotype. It just kind of goes to show that a lot of times anyway, we don't need to get into this. But the point is that
I met Bobby Flay one time. He's
really?
He's a little weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I can believe that.
They're all a little weird.
I can believe that.
Those big executive chefs, most of them are super weird.
Yeah. You kind of...
I mean, what a life, right?
Well, isn't the suicide rate high among chefs? So you just never know. I mean, you just never know what kind of I don't know. There's a weird movie about a chef that goes crazy and kills everybody. It's
bless that banshee's heart, man. That's all I can say to her. No one has ever held her accountable, though, to that kind of nonsense, and it's just been able to perpetuate over probably the whole course of her life. And somebody has empowered her to think that is okay behavior in any setting, anywhere.
Yeah.
It's not.
Okay, so we're going to...
And let me say this, too.
Yep.
These are the people that I pray that my sons never meet. And never have to deal with,
I'm
never have to interact. Yeah. Hey, Dad, I want you to meet my banshee. It's like, no.
You got a better chance staying in the South, that's for sure. But it's not guaranteed. I mean, the feminist mind. It's all kinds of things. Even girls in the South. Even when I was coming of age, they, you would meet one every now and then that didn't want the door opened for her. And
I'm teaching my girl. I have two daughters at home too, and I'm teaching them to be tough. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm teaching them how to take care of themselves, but I'm teaching them how to be respectful to everyone around them as well. And that's where the miss is with ladies like this that are freaking out and that have nothing better to do than to go park their cars in front of ICE agents and prevent them from taking child rapists and murderers and illegal immigrants that have committed crimes off our streets. I don't know why they have chosen this. I mean, there are so many cool things that they could be acting like idiots about. Mm-hmm. Why have they chosen this? I will never understand that. I'll never get this.
I think there's one explanation is where do they get their identity? And like as a Christian, my ultimate identity is in Christ, right? And I want to do as much as I can, to be a Christian talk show host, or a policeman who's a Christian needs to be a Christian policeman or whatever, and that sort of thing. My ultimate identity, that's where it is. But my identity is not in that would be the ultimate whether I did something else. It's not.
You're right.
It's not everything. It's not everything about me is doing this show, right?
Right.
Ultimately. But so if you're not a Christian, or maybe you're kind of a nominal Christian, a lot of people, because our hearts are, they say, and it's true, our hearts will kind of manufacture idols or whatever, and try to fill different voids. And there's all kinds of idols out there, not just stone and mortar idols. And so then you think like, well, if your identity is kind of found in the country you live in being decent, or the country you live in upholding all of your morals and every jot and tittle, or your identity is found in Anderson Cooper telling you there's a decent man in the White House, so when he tells you there's not a decent man in the White House, you can't sleep at night. Those types of things, there's a difference in how Republicans handled Joe Biden in office for 4 years versus how the Democrats are. We went on with our lives, loved our wives, loved our children, tried to take care of them. Like, that's what we did, whereas these people are quitting their jobs to go protest. I saw a video where I quit my job to be here. It's like, would you quit your job to go to a protest against Joe Biden? No, you wouldn't.
It's like they're projecting themselves onto these people as if, and they've bought into the narrative that every illegal immigrant that's in this country is some hardworking mother with 4 kids that loves this country and is here to do only good things and to take care of her kids. That's not at all reality. And how many more Americans have to die, and how many more drunks do we have to see get behind an 18-wheeler and go plowing down the streets of America, killing people and running into a minivan full of a mom moms and dads and kids, killing them before we finally say, well, no. And we have said no, and then here they are trying to put their cars in the way of that.
So a new AOC meme has dropped. Actually, there's a flurry of these with Bob Barker. I don't want a piece of you. I want the whole thing. Happy.
Oh yeah.
So there's a new AI meme that's dropped with Bob Barker. The Price is Right. Here's the one with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
This is great.
Hey, Johnny, tell us about the next item that old Alexandria What's Her Nuts here probably won't win.
All right, Bob, we have a surprise for you today. It's the all-new Antifa and Black Lives Matter approved protester printing press made by Soros for all of your protest sign needs at home, or take it on the road with you. Whenever your whiny ass feels the need to protest, print up your protest sign instantly for all of your protest needs. Made by Soros.
I love that. Oh yeah, I love that, because that was,
I love it.
Yeah, that was like classic, right? Like sick from. That was the highlight of my day. If I got to stay home because I was sick from school, it was like I get to watch The Price is Right at 10 a.m. Central. Because you never got to watch that when you went to public school. So that was really good. Also, this is new to me, but this is an old clip of Congressman Tim Burchett.
This is great.
But it's an old one, but I just saw it today, and I thought it was hilarious.
Hey, let him cook.
Congressman Perry, do you trust Trump's national security team to keep our war plans top secret?
You trust your mother every night to fix your Hot Pockets and make sure your Game Boy is turned on.
Did you see his face? Did you see his face? Like the guy with the camera's face.
So Burchett's obviously older, and he said Game Boy.
Yeah.
How long has it been since you've seen a Game Boy?
Yeah.
But still, that's what makes it so funny.
Yeah. Tim Burchett kind of sounds like the original George W. Bush.
I love him, by the way. Man, he's a straight shooter. That was great.
He is. All right, folks, that's all the time that we have for this edition of the show. We're going to be back here on Monday. God bless everybody out there watching. Really appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you notice our sponsors, Red Vive Health. want to give a shout-out to them. Go to redvivehealth.org/Pulse, save 40%. New Horizon Real Estate, Gateway Sight and Sound, T-Guard Bail Bonds, Charity Chiropractic. We can't do the show without them. We really appreciate it. And because we don't normally do a Friday show, we may be adding a Friday show here soon. But I do want to remind everybody, if you don't go to church, I think it's important for you to find a church that preaches the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. And for those of you who do go to church, have a blessed Lord's Day. We'll see you on Monday. Amen.